I could say it's evening, but I would be lying because it's definitely light outside.
What do you mean? We have a professional lighting setup. Does this
Yes.
not look professional to you?
I know. Look at this. Our props is this thing. I forgot what it's called. We have a wonderful sign made by the one and only Kristen.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've spent a lot of money on this setup.
Yep.
For sure. But this is the first time we're actually going live videoing and recording at the same time. So we'll see how it goes. I have confidence.
She said so unconfidently.
Like,
I have confidence.
Like 85% confidence that this will work out very well.
Is she not exuding confidence? Like, the best and worst part about this is, like, they will see our physical reactions to things.
I know.
So even if your voice can tell a lie, your body was not selling your lie.
I know. And now we're going to try to speak more eloquent. I'm not.
Don't speak lies for me.
It's going to be interesting because we won't be editing as much. So edited. So you guys will see everything.
Edited it.
Anyway, welcome back to the Midnight Memo. I'm Claire.
And I'm Kristen.
And that's it.
What happened to your tagline?
I realized that I hopped into the middle of it. But anyway, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to anyone who's listening. We're so happy that you could join us. The new tagline is, our eyelids are heavy, but our thoughts are heavier. Let us know what you think about it.
Terrifying.
I kind of like it. We can workshop it.
I like it, but it scares me to my core a little bit because it's so true.
I know. Yeah. But this podcast is basically where we can come together and kind of talk about all the thoughts that keep us up at night.
Mm-hmm. We have many.
Yeah, we have a lot, unfortunately. I've never slept a day in my life.
Relatable. I took a nap before this, so
she's fresh. She's fresh.
Oh, then I would not. I'm trying to be, but I don't think it's working. I think I'm half asleep still, despite chugging some caffeine. I was like trying to counteract it. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll feel it out. It'll be all good.
All vibes, just vibes.
Yeah.
Cult vibes.
Oh, hashtag cult vibes. This is a little bit of a what is it? Foreshadowing of what we're going to be talking about.
Preview.
Yes, because quite honestly, especially because of all the different Netflix documentaries that are coming out on have come out in the past month.
Yeah.
Like, my mind has been racing. But anyway, I guess like we could start with like our little weekly catch up because we've both been very busy, and I always like to do a catch up just to like see what's happening in our lives.
I'll let y'all know.
Yes. So, what have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
What have I done? Why it's such an easy question and I can't think of what I've done in the last 2 weeks. Oh, went to San Francisco for work. I guess I don't know how far back we're going. Went to San Francisco for work. It was a little team bonding. Well, the purpose was to work, but it turned into also like a slight team bonding. So that was very cute. I got to know my team better. And then immediately after I got back, we went away for Claire's belated birthday trip.
Oh, yes.
To Leavenworth, which was super duper fun. I surprised her. Or her boyfriend surprised her. But I surprised her as well.
Yes.
I coordinated it with him.
Yeah.
But
it was so cute. So we have a friend, Lucy, who we've referenced in the podcast before.
Yes.
But so my boyfriend and Kristen, they were like coordinating, and they got her to fly up for my birthday, and I was so shocked. Like, there's a video. I wonder if we can like insert the video.
Insert video here.
Anyway,
I hope so.
But it was so sweet, and it was so cute.
I didn't think Claire was gonna be surprised. Honestly, that was like the most rewarding part. Is I really didn't think we could get you surprised. Yeah. I really was not expecting a reaction.
I knew someone was coming because Bud did let it slip that he was like, oh, can 5 people fit in the car?
Okay, you want to know the most infuriating thing about that?
What?
Is we were trying, so the original plan, as far as Claire knew, the plan was, it was just going to be me, my partner, her, and her partner. And it was just going to be the 4 of us. Lucy was the surprise 5th person. And I was asking Bud before the trip, and I was like, does Claire know, like, what's happening? Like, how much does Claire know? Because he was like, this is a surprise trip, but you knew that we were coming. So I was just confused. I was like, which part of this is the surprise? Like, what should I not tell her? Because,
Yeah.
and he was not sure either for a little bit. And then finally he was like, you knew that we were going to be there, and you knew we were going to Leavenworth, but he was like, she doesn't know who else is coming. And I was like, okay, cool. So, but he said that you knew that other people were going to be, I don't know. He was like, this is a pseudo surprise. So he was like telling me that you knew, but didn't know. I don't know.
I think the original intent was for it to be a surprise, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then he was like, I don't know any of your friends.
And which is fair.
Yeah. And so he was like asking me questions, kind of like, if you could invite someone, like, who would have, he tried his best.
He did his best. What a cutie.
But yeah. At first he was like, I will tell you that I tried to invite your mom up, but then like I was like, Mama J doesn't want to spend a weekend in a cabin with two couples, like drinking and whatnot.
We never know,
but I do. And then he was like, yeah, I tried to get Rachel and Garrett up. Rachel's my best friend from back home, and so. But so I like kind of knew, but I was like, I don't really know what the. Yeah,
terrible.
It was good effort.
Terrible. So he was like, oh, she knows about the surprise now. Right before Lucy was gonna come up, and I was like, so this isn't that surprise. Like, I'm so confused by this man. But apparently Claire had actually no clue about a fifth. Like, I guess enough plans. The middle steps before we got to the final plan had fallen through, where you have just like given up and you genuinely thought, okay, it's just gonna be us four. And then the day before we leave, before Lucy flies in, Bud lets it slip. Oh, could 5 people fit in the car?
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, yeah, you have a truck. Like, but I
didn't know. You couldn't do that math yourself, Bud. I'm looking at you right now. You couldn't do that math yourself.
But to be fair, I didn't know who the fifth person was going to be. I didn't know who the fifth person was going to be, so it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, I'm glad. But I was like, when he told me that after we did the whole surprise, or you did, you were like, I knew someone was coming, but I didn't know who. And I was like, damn it, dude. We got so close to the finish line. It's fine. I'm fine.
It worked out.
It still worked out. It's all good.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah. I think I think that's like the first surprise thing I've had. So
that's so
it was really cute.
That's very
so happy.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, we got a lot of cute pictures on that trip too. So
we did. That was
fun. Yeah, this past week I was in San Diego just visiting fam because my family was supposed to come up to Seattle and then they got COVID and then they couldn't come. So it was like a makeup trip. So I went back down.
Yeah.
But this week now I have today here and then I go to Connecticut.
Yeah. For work, right?
Yeah, for work until Friday. And then Friday afternoon I have a wedding and then we have to leave for the 4th of July trip.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. And I'm like,
you're crazy.
I am crazy.
You're like crazy.
I truly am. And I was kind of, if you're from my job, no, you're not, and you didn't see this, but I'm kind of trying to think of an excuse not to go.
You literally leave tomorrow, dude.
I know.
How are you going to do that?
I'm probably not. So it's okay if you see this because I won't make up an excuse. But just know that I will be tired the whole time. Unintentionally, but.
Plus, just that flight over to
Connecticut. It's like, what, 5-6 hours, then like 2-hour drive. And it's like, I'm going to be 3 hours ahead now, so I'm going to be so tired in the morning.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways.
First world problems, but still sucks.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But truly never sleep. Ever.
Yeah. Not like we slept before.
That's true. It's not much of a change.
No.
Anyways. Colts. I feel like I'm really bad at making eye contact.
I know. I'm like, do I look at you? Do I look at the camera? I don't know. We're professionals here, regardless.
We're learning it. We're working it out. You know? Trying different things. Do a little bit of both. I do have notes here, so that's why we're looking at the computer for the first time. Oh. I don't know what position I was in before. I can cut this out. Ready? Editing. um, but this is actually the first time I've actually made an attempt at notes, and keep expectations very low because like I got halfway through making them and then gave up. So
fair.
Yes. I mean, at this point, I think everyone knows what we say kind of take with a grain of salt.
Oh, of course.
When it comes to researching things.
It's more of a quick Google search, as most of us do.
Yeah. We didn't look any further into like...
We didn't reach the second page of the Google search.
We didn't, no.
But does anyone?
I don't think so. I think, honestly, the best place to hide a body, second page of Google. No one goes there.
No one goes there.
Truly. Like, no. Why is there even more than one page on Google?
Great question. I was just thinking about that. I was just like, there's also more pages beyond the second page. Like, if
you're lying.
I know. Listen, guys, don't let me share your world here.
The internet is crazy.
But like, sometimes you'll see the pages that go to like thousands or like, I don't know. I kind of want to perform a Google search right now because I just want to know like how far. What's like the common 10 to the what power is a page, like the pages you should go to. Why is that the first thing on your Google? Wait, hold it. Wait a damn fucking minute. Claire's first Google search. She typed in what is, and the first thing that popped up was commercial driver's license.
Oh yeah. Okay, I was filling out a global entry application, and it was like, what kind of driver's license do you have? Is it a commercial driver's license? And I was like, is that just a regular driver's license?
Right.
And so I researched it, but it's like a license if you want to drive one of those big trucks or like RVs or something like that. And I was like, oh.
Did you get a global?
Yes. No, I'm
I
kidding.
should do a global entry.
I know. I just reapplied because I know we're going to Mexico, and mine just expired on my birthday. So
how long does it take to apply?
So for anyone who's traveling and doesn't have global entry, get it. I highly recommend it. It's basically you get to go through customs so much faster than you would if you didn't have it.
Yeah.
You can apply online. I think it's like the TTP website now. And you put in an application, asks you a bunch of background information. If you're applying for the first time, you will have to go in and do an interview, either in person or I think they do it online now because of COVID situations, you know.
One good thing.
Yeah. So it says, though, that it could take, I think, up to a few weeks to even have your application go through.
Dang, so I'm not going to get it in time for this trip.
But I just did it on Friday, and they just sent me a confirmation that mine was renewed, which was only 2 days. So you could still attempt to apply, and then if it goes through, then try to schedule an interview like right before we leave.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yes. But the second
thing on her search history was, what is a prison suit called?
Yeah, I wanted to know.
I feel like we all need to ask Claire some very important questions later on, but we'll stick a pin in that for a later time.
Yeah, we'll come back. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's not nearly as bad as I thought it was.
Is the amount of O's in Google the amount of pages? 1, 2,
for
3.
Right there in that image, it is. She doesn't believe me. She's freaking counting them.
Yeah. Oh, it's literally lined up with the numbers too. I don't know.
That's why I said yeah, right there.
Yeah, but okay. So there's 41.9 million results.
Yep.
In 0.61 seconds.
Speed.
Yeah.
There's no way that only fit on 10 pages.
Let's go to page 10.
And then hit the next button.
Like, we're shocked there are more pages.
Maybe I'm shocked. You don't know that? Goddamn.
It's fine. Anyway, I don't even know how we got on that topic.
I mean, how do we get on any of the topics
That's very true.
Side tangents we get on this show. Fuck.
That's very true. All right. So, we wanted to talk about cults. And I think it's a pretty hot topic right now. Again, with all the documentaries that are coming out. And
what documentaries have you been watching that fueled the idea for this cult thing? Because you've definitely been on it for a couple weeks now. I really want to talk about cults. And I was like, sure.
Fun fact, have not watched any of them. However.
Disappointing.
However, I don't actually know what fueled my initial interest. I think I was just thinking about it one night.
I think we mentioned, well, in an outtake of a previous episode, I know we talked about a cult for like a brief second.
Yeah. And there are just so many of them. And I think I started wondering why people join cults, or like what's the appeal. And so I kind of got into what is it, a wormhole? No, rabbit hole. It's pretty close.
Sure. Okay. Don't think about it. Just don't think about it too much.
Rely on Claire to make analogies that just don't make sense at all.
Ask Claire, but I already said this, but about you trying to explain the plot of Star Wars.
Oh, I know.
We'll have that at some point. We'll have you do that.
Yeah. We'll explain all the movies that we haven't seen in exquisite detail. Okay. Yeah. So I was getting kind of into a rabbit hole about cults, and then I was realizing that we're surrounded by them more often than we think, and like have even participated in cult-like behavior unknowingly. Okay. And so then I was like, oh, type. So honestly, if the government was looking at my search history, they'll probably be like, why is she trying to start a cult? Which I'm not, but if I did, I don't know what it would be about. We'll circle back to that.
Yeah, that'll be a later point. Yeah, for sure.
But I guess like cults basically are just like groups of people who come together usually they'll have a leader of sorts. Right. And they'll come together in faith of a specific belief or a set of beliefs that they all agree with. And
do they agree with it? Not at first, right? It's only once you join it. I feel like part of it
that's fair
is also like maybe you agree with some of it, and then through the brainwashing or whatever, it's like, okay, I can learn to live with that, rather than like if there's the list of this is what the cult's about, you agree with everything firsthand. I feel like no one, if rarely, actually like agrees with all of it 100% of the time right off the bat.
That's true. And like when I was researching what kind of people would join cults, it was interesting to me because I would think that the normal people who would join cults, or like the stereotypical group of people who are in cults, they got into it because, they're in time of transition in their life. They don't really know what they're doing. They want to have a sense of belonging to, a group of like-minded people, which honestly is like a very human thing to want.
Very, yeah.
And it's just interesting how when I researched, it's actually more educated people are more likely to join cults.
That feels so contradictory, to what I would have thought.
Yeah.
I would have assumed the same, that it's like, people who have some type of void, and I think they would have been easier prey to be inducted into a cult.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. But apparently, the article I was reading was saying more educated people are more likely to be open-minded to other people's point of view, because they like to analyze a situation from like multiple points of views.
Right.
Which makes sense. Like for us, I think that when we hear a different point of view, we're like, okay, not necessarily agreeing, but I want to hear where you're coming from.
Yeah, tell me more.
Like where is this stemming from?
Yeah.
And so I think because of that, they're more willing to listen through the whole argument of like, here's my cult, here's what we believe in.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, I think the selling, or the person who's trying to sell, it's preying on the insecurities of human nature.
Oh, 100%.
So even when you don't necessarily believe in it, you're like, well, there's some sort of security or an idea of security that comes with it that makes it more appealing. Tempting to join, which I found interesting. Yeah. And like in some ways I want to argue that it's like, are you kind of weak-minded to be so persuaded so easily. Like, you can be highly educated,
right,
but also be easily persuaded.
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, some of those people who are in cults, strong-headed,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
strong-minded. So I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, I can't quite analyze the appeal or how people can so easily be like, yeah, I'll join it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But is it just, I don't know how much of it is a jumping off point. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's black and white when you join a cult. It seems like, from the limited things and the limited exposure I've had to like cults.
That's fair.
I feel like it's usually like, oh, this is kind of cool, or like what, like I said, you agree with like some of it, and there's some, I feel like it's more of a transition piece of like slowly you do things that you believe in from the cult, or like you start going to whatever events, organized things that the cult has going on, and you start going to that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, oh no, I'm not part of this yet, until suddenly down the line you're fully in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they do design it to be that way. Like, it's baby steps, and it's so, the difference between stages is so like small that you don't realize it,
that you've fallen off the edge.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And there are a bunch of really famous cults that, they're the famous for going too far with their belief systems, causing, what is it? Not mass genocide, mass murders, mass suicides.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. Anyway, there are a lot of cults, religious cults that have caused a lot of deaths. And
is it recording again?
Yes.
Shit, what were we just talking about?
I think the mass amount of deaths. It's a really light topic.
Great segues.
Yeah. There have been a lot of those famous cults that have caused a lot of deaths, whether it be like they were afraid of being stopped, I guess, by other authorities.
Yeah.
And so they'll force all of their members to like drink poison or something like that, which is crazy. But it's also in hopes of, going to the next stage. I forgot what that one was called.
It was a branch. It was like an extremist branch off of from LS Latter-day Saints.
Not the People's Temples.
I think if you look up Waco.
Was it Children of God? Heaven's Gate.
Oh my god, it ended in the year we were born. That's terrifying to think about.
Yeah. And also, like, side note.
Don't like that.
I always forget, too, that cults are, like, universal. Like, for some reason, I think a lot of the cults I first think about are all founded in the U.S.
Right.
But then there are so many others that are universal. Like, even some of those cults that originated in the U.S., say Scientology, right? They have followers that are in Canada, abroad, in Europe. Right. And, like, it's kind of crazy to think about the reach that they can get.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But how many, percentage-wise, how many are founded for us internationally? Because I feel, like you said, all the ones that I think about and hear about the most often are founded in the U.S. Okay, maybe they have international branches, but how often does it actually occur where there's a cult that starts internationally?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like not as many, because America itself is kind of a cult.
Yeah, because all I could think about was also how statistically America also has the most amount of serial killers, and then it becomes an issue of like, oh, is it because we actually have more serial killers? Because there are mass killers abroad for us abroad, and maybe it's just not as well known because America also has an infatuation for serial killers due to the media exposure of it and the wonderment of it, and in general our curiosity of it. So therefore it spirals and it becomes a thing, and now it just is a thing. And is this the same situation for cults? Like, not saying that internationally they don't have serial killers, because we know that they do, but they just definitely don't have the weight of it. So is it like statistically, do we actually have more serial killers, or just we know more about them and we expose them and find them hopefully more often than internationally? Same thing for cults.
I don't know. That's a good question. But there are a lot of cults that are just kind of like unofficial, I think, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So who's to say? But there was when I was researching all of the different things about cults and like the patterns that they have in indoctrination into the cult, and like things like the steps you have to take to become a member.
Yeah.
It reminded me of sororities and fraternities. And I will say
crickets, insert cricket noise
I know.
Here.
I will say that I have a lot of friends who are part of sororities and they love them.
Yeah.
And, they say, yes, it's a sisterhood. And I've made a lot of my close friends from living with them in whatever sorority houses, Greek life houses and stuff. And they do a lot of events that are really good for like charities. And I'm like, amazing. But there are a lot of sororities and fraternities that really fall into those stereotypical culty vibes. Yeah. With the hazing processes, those chants and like little songs that they make up for each event, or the way that they have to all look the same for specific events.
Never understood that. Yeah. That part, honestly, it's such a first world problem. But it fucking blows my, like, how is it so important? But it's so, I feel like more, I don't know how much it is prominent in fraternities, but for sororities, oh my God, yeah, my friends who are part of sororities telling me like, oh, you have the same like 30 events that you go to every year, and you have to, there's always a theme to it. You have to wear this exact like to the minuscule description like type of pieces of clothing, but you also can't like match with other people. God no. There's one person in charge who coordinates everyone to make sure everyone has something different, but it falls within the same vibes and it fits a look to the sense of almost looking like a uniform without being a uniform. So it looks like you're your own person, but you're obviously part of the thing. And it's like, oh, you have to get it like vetted by the person in charge of the outfit thing. And then you spend so much money on that outfit that you were only allowed to wear that one time.
Yeah.
And you can't wear it for all the events. And if you join the sorority your freshman year, you're going to go to the same event 3 more times. But the theme might change. Or, I don't know. I'm like, yo, college is expensive as shit already. You mean I'm going to join a group where I have to pay yearly fees, which are expensive from what I've been told.
Yes.
But then on top of that yearly fee, I have to buy brand new freaking outfits for each of our many, many events. And I can't reuse it after that. Bleh.
Yeah. I think the first time I was exposed to that was when I was like in high school, and like people would come into my work, because I worked at a shoe boutique.
Right.
And they would be like, I'm looking for these very specific shoes, like a very specific shade of tan. And I was like, oh, like we have these options. And they're like, no, that one's too light. Like that one's a little too dark.
How can you freaking tell, too?
Yeah. And it would be like, we're looking for a wedge, and like bring out different wedges. And they're like, no, this one's like, the wedge isn't like the right material. Like, it's a lot. And I could not imagine. But yeah, I think there's like one video too of a specific sorority where like they just open up these double doors and it's just like lines of like sisters just like clapping. And I was like, it kind of looks
that's terrifying.
Yeah. Like imagine walking through that. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
What? No, that's terrifying. That's so terrifying. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. And like, okay, so aside from the outfits, like the hazing process, I think more recently hazing has gotten less intense in a lot of places, which is nice. But there are still instances of hazing for both sororities and fraternities that are really, really intense. Yeah. And like, I don't think hazing should be allowed. In some places, I don't even think it is, but people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so crazy to, again, like preying on that fear of you're a freshman in college. You want to meet people. You want to make friends.
You want to belong somewhere.
Exactly. So it's like joining a sorority or fraternity is similar to like, I guess, finding like a sports team to join, or so you have a little bit of a community around you.
Right.
But then again, like having to degrade yourself and embarrass yourself to be part of that group.
Why is that part of it too? Like, why is that the expectation? Like, to prove your loyalty, you need to, like you said, embarrass yourself and degrade yourself so far.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now you're worthy.
Yeah.
Like, why? No, like, tests of strength. Like, I feel like there's other options, like test of strength, test of something else instead of embarrassment.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, it's so stupid because you could do like hazing, like fun hazing, where it's like make a PowerPoint presentation about this random subject. Right. And like, or I don't know, help set up an event for one of the rush activities. But it has to be like, it can be on theme, but like you have to coordinate everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think a lot of the stereotypical hazing is like, how much can you drink? Or especially for guys, like they'll be like, oh, you have to drink as much as you can. Yeah. And then like half of the people have to get their stomachs pumped because they've gone too far.
Yeah, definitely.
There are a lot of ones.
A lot of nudity involved. It's like,
yeah,
which is also freaking stupid to me because I'm like, I feel like also stereotypically in frats, it's like they try to prove, oh, like I'm a man, like I am a heterosexual cis male, like very much trying to prove their heterosexuality. But in their hazing, it always has to do with like nudity. It's like strip down to your boxers and do this thing, like embarrassment of that. Or be like butt ass naked and run across campus. You know, like there's always some form of nudity in there. And I'm just like, how is...
Seems a little homo to me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't understand.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't understand.
The math is not mathing. The math does not math.
Yeah. And I don't know many other like fraternity hazing, but for girls, I've heard a lot about, it's all about body image to get into, specific. I think, I mean, we were not in sororities. I don't really know a lot about the different branches or houses, but I think each house has like a different vibe. But there are some that are more preppy and they have like a very specific look that they're going for. And so they kind of target girls that could fit look, fit that image for them. And there were, I think the worst story I heard was girls having to sit on washing machines in like their bra and underwear. And like as the washing machine would shake, like whatever shook on your body, which everything is going to shake because
you're on a fucking moving.
Yeah. Like everyone has, it's no point because I don't know.
Unless you're a skeleton, disgusting. Something's gonna fucking shake.
Yeah, and they're like, they would like circle your areas in Sharpie and be like, you need to like lose this before you're allowed to be a part of our sorority.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, why? And like, even during that hazing process, like, why would you then want to go back and join it?
Yeah, someone degraded you that much, and then you still want to be a part of that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so crazy. And then there are a lot of like bad things that happen on rush nights. Like, I think the most recent one I heard about was the University of Nebraska. They call it like the Fiji House, where trigger warning, we're talking about sexual assault. There was I think she was only 17 or 18.
Yeah, she was a freshman.
Yeah, and she was raped during rush night by one of the frat guys. And so people who found out about this, they were like, not okay.
Right.
We're gonna kind of protest
the
fraternity and the sororities that were involved, because neither the fraternity or sorority stepped in to like help this girl out.
Yeah.
And the other members of those houses were kind of making a joke about it. They're like, oh, haha, like they would video people from inside the houses, like outside the people who were protesting and kind of like laughing at them like they
Right.
couldn't do anything anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, what kind of culture is that?
Yeah.
You know, like what makes that okay?
And especially, do you know if at this point the girl who was raped was part of the sorority that she was rushing, whatever it was?
I don't
Okay.
know. I haven't followed it.
But like in theory, if she was part of that sorority, right? How are you gonna, like, what about, isn't the whole point of a sorority like sisterhood?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, if this girl is now part of your sorority, you find out she's raped, you're just gonna mum's the word, you know? Like, doesn't that go against everything you're trying to freaking build there?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It does. And it's crazy to me. Like, I totally, yeah, like what kind of brotherhood or sisterhood would you want to be a part of that is like that?
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a parallel to a lot of the big cults that are here today.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are some that allow that to happen and even encourage it because like for men, they're like, oh yeah, you're allowed to have multiple wives. You're allowed to have wives of all ages.
Mm-hmm. Which is terrifying.
Yeah. And I don't know why that's a thing. Like, wasn't Joaquin Phoenix born into a cult?
I'm not sure.
Ooh, I think he was. I could totally be lying, but there is a cult that...
Quick fact check as you continue.
There was a cult that encouraged men to have relations with younger women because they were entitled to it.
Right.
And they like deserved it or something like that. And now they're a reformed cult and say that's no longer allowed, but you're still allowed to have multiple wives. Mm. I wonder if that was the one that was on Netflix. I don't know.
I don't know which one. Like you said, there's multiple. Don't know if you're which one you're referring to. But to fact check you, yes, Joaquin Phoenix opened up about, this is the title of an article. It says Joaquin Phoenix opens up about growing up in the Children of God cult.
Yeah, okay, Children of God.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I guess like another parallel would be having an idolized like leader of the cults or sororities, fraternities. There's always that either maybe one singular person who's like the head sorority girl who gets like the big room in the house and gets most of the privileges, and I don't know
who runs sorority.
I think it's like a board of people who run it. Right.
No, I mean like while you are attending the university, right? Like like you said, the person who's running the house, is that like the president of a sorority?
Oh, could be.
Or like, what's the board when you're currently in the school? Like you're joining it, you're at the university. Whereas like afterwards, they have the board, they have their different chapters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, chapter leader? Chapter?
Maybe. Could be.
Something like that.
Yep. Yes. And yeah, same with, so like that person gets to say and do and like make decisions for the rest of the group without really any of the group's consent.
Yeah.
So, and then
there's no power dynamic there really.
Yeah.
Or counterbalance of power.
Mm-hmm.
As there should be. But personal opinions.
Yes. It's kind of crazy to think about. Because like at the same time, it's hard to decipher where the line is between having like a community of people who all believe the same thing,
right,
and then like a cult. Like what's that thinly veiled line that you cross over?
Not so thinly veiled, but the first thing I thought of was the ability to leave.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I feel like that's a strong differentiation, because I feel you talk like for Joaquin Phoenix, right? Most people who are born in, raised, or decide to join a cult, if at whatever point they decide I don't want to be a part of this anymore, the longest excuse to keep staying is they don't see a way out, like an ability to leave.
Yeah.
Or if they do, they fear for major repercussions, whether it's their life, their family's life, some sort of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I think there are a few cults out there who, if you do try to leave, they threaten like you, your family. A lot of them, when you join, will actually collect blackmail.
Yeah, they ask you to like forfeit over something.
Yeah,
some type of incriminating evidence. Or don't you perform? Sometimes there's an induction like performance, right? Too, right? Kind of like for hazing for a fraternity.
Yeah, I think there was one cult who forced you to take nude photos, and then like they would keep those, so if you ever tried to leave, they would leak them out.
Yeah.
Which, not good. Not the worst, but not the best.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Especially with the internet now. Like, if that gets out, that's out.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. Once it's online, you can't get it back. It's probably hiding on the 10th page of Google.
There's more pages past 10. We got to 14.
Yeah, we saw up to page 14 on Google. We saw
up to page 14. And who knows what's beyond that.
Yeah. Crazy. Another story I heard about a sorority was, again, some sororities, it's all about image. Right. And, ooh, hello?
Hello.
Thanks. And she was saying that every single like barbecue event that they would do a crossover with the matching fraternity house, which I don't know how they matched them up.
I don't know either. I don't.
Like there's always, yeah, like there's always the most desired sorority, the most desired fraternity, and then like all the other ones. I don't know. From an outside perspective, that's what it seems like. Like everyone wants to get into this one fraternity, this one sorority, because they're like the houses that host all the events together. I don't know. It's a weird dynamic.
And when they match, so like say you have sorority A, fraternity A at one university, those are the two head ones. But then they have multiple chapters of sorority A at different universities, right? So is it always sorority A? If we go to now another university, will sorority A and fraternity A, those chapters at this other university, be the matching ones?
Maybe, because I think that like, so the board of that house or whatever, probably made up of sisters who are part of that house, but they don't have to necessarily come from that house. Like if you're at University of Alabama and you were part of like Delta Tau something, Gamma, but then another went to Ole Miss and was part of the same chapter, but that now they're both at Alabama. It's still the same sorority, same culture,
right?
Same whatever. So it's probably at least similar alignment, with the rest of the sorority houses and fraternity houses.
So you think they would still be paired up at different universities?
So.
I would think so too.
Maybe. I always joke that I was part of Kappa Cappuccino.
This is what I deal with, y'all. This is what I do.
She loves it. Thumbs up.
When have you ever said that?
Honestly, more than I'd like to admit. So
I've literally never heard you say this. Who do you say this to?
Everyone. Everyone but you. I'm just kidding.
Apparently.
I'm part of a cult.
The coffee thing makes me think that my partner would probably be a part of that cult as well.
Yeah. Coffee Lovers is a cult.
Yep.
Unofficially.
Yeah. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. Okay, so story time. We went in a circle. We're now back. Okay. So
are we?
No. Okay. So again, they were hosting a barbecue, and all the girls got dressed up on theme.
Oh my god, I forgot where we. Yes.
Right. Right. I was like, we circled around.
I was like, who's having a barbecue? Who are people having a barbecue?
Who dare have a barbecue?
I want a barbecue now.
I know, it's summertime and it's hot out. I'm trying to convince Bud to do a lot of barbecues at his house.
Oh, why? Do you want to do it on my rooftop?
Oh, we could.
Take two. Yep, you got there. Okay, cool.
Okay.
We'll put it in the calendar later.
Yeah.
Anyways, people having a barbecue.
Third time's a charm. People had a barbecue. A sorority had a barbecue, and all the girls dressed up on theme, and they had set up a bunch of different like activities, like cornhole, you know, beer dye, things on the lawn, whatever. And behind the scenes, though, no one was playing. Everyone was just standing around, not doing anything, until like the head of the sorority would come over and say, "You three girls come for a picture." And then they would like cherry pick these girls out of the whole group. Fourth time's a charm. So set the scene. It's a sorority barbecue. They're supposed to, all the girls like you would think would be having fun, you know, a lawn party. But everyone was just standing around, not really doing anything. And then the girls would get cherry picked from a crowd. And then the people would say, act like you're having fun, to take the photos. Yeah. And then be like, all right, you're done. And then they would go back to just standing around. Like, so a lot of it was purely for image.
This was a story that brought this to light. Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, it's so weird. Like, people not necessarily are having fun in their sororities.
And what's worse is there's nothing to say that they couldn't already, they being whoever the hell was at this barbecue, right? Couldn't have also, in general, been playing beer dye, playing cornhole, like whatever the other games were. Yeah. And still gotten cherry picked. Like, just because we needed the picture and you were faking the fun doesn't mean that everything on the other side of the camera couldn't have been happening. Like, the creepy and haunting part of that to me is that no one was moving. No one was doing anything.
And no one was really questioning it either. They were just like, yeah, not. This is how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have been like, I'm just not going. But then you get in trouble for not going. So, yeah. I don't know. Crazy. The standards are weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I guess I need to do more research into like the weirdness of sororities and fraternities. Because to be quite honest, I do think that they're weird. I know people have fun in them, and there's like a lot of opportunity to have fun, make friends, make a community. But there are also so many weird stories that I've heard. Yeah. So I don't know.
I think it's like a lot of things that are probably good, little good bubbles of like actual good fraternities, good sororities, and stuff like that. But I think in general, there's also so much badness. Yeah. And unfortunately, those are the ones that we hear as outsiders. So that's all we think of, really. That's the image that we have of them.
Yeah, the toxic environment that they create is insane. Yeah. It's just like expectations, so much pressure to fit in, doing things that really like
you don't
isn't you. Yeah.
And then what was it? I was watching a TV show and I think they were talking about one of the characters had just gone away to college and blah blah blah, and someone was asking them like, oh, have you joined any fraternities, blah blah blah, and they were like, no, I'm living on my own for the first time. Trying to find my identity as an individual is already so hard. Why would I want to join something in which I'm being formed and molded into a specific image and given an identity that I might not necessarily agree to, or I don't even know if I agree with, because I don't even know myself yet. And I think that was the best, personally, how I feel, the best way of encapsulating it.
Yeah. And yeah, it's such a formative time. So I think it could be why a lot of people join them in the first place, or if their like parents are legacies or something like that. Yeah.
Which is crazy. Even another part of like the culty behavior, right? So it's like, okay, if your parent, your mom was part of this sorority, right? And then, okay, now you have this existential pressure from her probably, but I guess in general of an expectation from society and the other people that, oh, your mom was in it, so now you're going to join the sorority as well, and you have to join it. So then even additionally, it's not even your image, you have to do it because your parents did it. That's very culty. Like, oh, I have to be a part of it because my mom was a part of it. Yeah. And then like you're looked down upon. Yeah. Then you're held to the standard of like, oh, your mom. What if your mom was an icon at the sorority back then? Now you have that double expectation of having to live up to that while you're trying to be an individual in university.
Yeah. That I don't. My mom was so much cooler than me. I would have let her
Your
down.
mom was real fucking cool. She is
so cool. She is. Yeah, she's still cooler than me, and she reminds me every single day.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah, but going. I guess switching from sororities to fraternities. Even though I do want to do maybe in the future at some point another deep dive on just like sororities and fraternities in general. Because I just think that it's so interesting. I don't know.
I want to understand them.
Yeah. I'm glad we went to school that didn't have them because I think it causes such a separation.
Yeah. It didn't have any official.
We didn't have any official sororities or fraternities. But I think a lot of the times, too, it just causes such a divide with classism and things like that.
Yeah.
But anyways. Also was thinking about cult-like groups that aren't like officially cults, but we could kind of see them as cults.
Right.
So a lot of people who are religious about sports. Mm-hmm. I think I don't have a lot of say in this because I don't follow sports, to be honest, but Bud had mentioned it. He's like, yeah, like people who, religiously will live and die for their team.
Yeah.
And they wear the jerseys with like their favorite players on the back, and then we'll pretend like they're part of the team, like, you guys, if we just had done this.
Yeah.
It's like,
who's we? Who's we?
You are sitting on your couch drinking your 5th beer.
Yeah.
Sir. Like, I don't know. Or like they'll travel to like each game.
Yeah.
With the teams. Yeah. It's crazy.
The traveling part doesn't bug me so much because it's like, okay, you're just like a diehard supporter. But like some of the other parts definitely are culty. Mm-hmm. What I was thinking of is singer celebrity like fandoms, basically.
Oh, Swifties?
Swiftie. Okay, they're going to come for us. We can't do that.
I'm not saying I'm not one. It's just self-identification. Self-realization?
Yeah. Like Swifties. One Direction back in the day. Oh my god, what a fucking cult. I can say that because I was part of it.
Oh, the new K-pop band.
BTS. I mean, BTS is a huge one. Like, I know that's not saying they're a cult, but like, I feel like certain parts of it are certain people who are like die hard for them, very culty. Even like back in the day, like our parents' generation, for like certain celebrities that they had, groupies, I feel like formed like little cults of like following the band everywhere they go, or like trying to steal their shit, like have a little piece of them, and it's like, oh my god, they're so in love with me, like that mentality of like, oh, have not met this. And I would put that to the equivalent of like the cults you were talking about earlier, the cult leader and idolizing them, right? People idolize these celebrities, these artists, to the point of oh my god, they're in love with me, they recognize, like, I don't know the words I'm trying to reach for here, but just that idolization, the like holding them on a literal pedestal of godlikeness. Like, I will do anything for you. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And then warping it even farther where it's like, they're in love with me. We've never met. Like, I don't know if that's a different type of illness, or if that falls in the cultiness. Yeah. The obsession of it all. That's crazy. But I feel like the most modern version of cultiness that we accept as in our like day-to-day lives that we see, but then we don't recognize it as a cult, or we just like accept it as fandom. Because they're some of them are really intense. Like, some of them they're like armies, and you could tell them to do something and they will do it. Like, no questions asked. Even like, you might be a fan of the artist, right? But to that portion of the fandom that's like what we're talking about, like borderline culty behavior. It's like, oh yeah, I really like this artist. Okay, well, do you know their birthday? Do you know their not even their big three, like their entire star sign, blah 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 blah. Or like, do you know every little fact about them? And if you don't, it's like, you're not a real fan. And it's like, okay, bitch. Excuse me, I have other things to do. I'm fucking going to school. I have other things to do. You're wearing their shirt. Do you even know any of their songs? Oh my god.
Well, half the time I don't, but still.
And that's like with sports, right? Oh my God. How guys will be like,
what are their stats?
Yes. How you're like, oh, I like this team at basketball. Oh, well, do you know what year they won blah, 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 like this championship? Name 5 players. Like,
yeah.
Do you do that to a male?
No.
Do you ever, if a man says that he likes the same team as you, would you ever ask him this shit? No, you fucking wouldn't.
No.
Cult.
Half the time, too, I feel like if you did, they would just start naming random people.
Yeah. Well, even if you answer their question, they're going to keep pulling questions until they fucking trip you up. And they're like, see, you don't know. And it's like, okay, we were like on question 36. Yeah. Like, the fact that you had all this like readily available means you have too much time on your fucking hands.
Yeah. Like, so you got nothing going on, do ya?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should get a hobby.
Literally.
Yeah. And like, oh, what was I going to say too? Whenever, it'll come back to me. It's fine. Whatever. We'll move on. We'll circle back. It'll come to me randomly.
You have to keep that in there.
Yeah. I feel like I took a jump.
Trying to like read the notes without like creepily looking around, but like this big ass.
Just read it through the pop filter.
I can't see shit through. That's why I'm like.
Yes. I think we're actually going to skip that one. Okay, multi-level marketing and pyramid schemes.
Yes.
Kind of culty.
Very culty. Did I tell you? I almost accidentally joined one in college.
Do tell. Was this for like, what is it? Diffusers? It's essential oils? Okay, then go on.
Wait, I want to go back to yours. Explain more why you thought this was for diffusers.
Because, okay,
so... Was I talking about I've never been interested in diffusers in college. Please tell me more why you thought this.
But there are a lot of those companies now, like Scentsy candles or, there are specific essential oil companies that will basically be like, hey, like if you sell, I don't know, however many cases of essential oils, then like you get part of the profits, and basically we'll try to recruit people to become sellers of a specific item. And I remember that we had a girl come into our dorm room one day. I think it was like a cousin of someone who was selling like essential oils and candles. And she was like, yeah, like if you guys wanted to join or like sell your own, like you could end up making a lot of money and things like that. And basically trying to sell us like into becoming part of this pyramid scheme, which by the way, again, pyramid schemes, super hard to leave without going into huge amount of debt.
Right. Especially if you have a system.
Yeah.
Because of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Like you have a whole scheme below you.
Yeah. So it's like to get into becoming a seller of a specific item, you have to fork out like hundreds of dollars for the product that you have to try to then sell it to someone else for a profit. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's so crazy. I'm like, not everyone needs Scentsy candles. Not everyone needs diffusers.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking back on it, we were definitely, I think it was when we were in the same dorm. I'm not sure. But we were propositioned to become a part of this pyramid thing. And I was like, you know what? I was kind of convinced at first because broke college students need money.
No, exactly.
But I didn't have the money to fork out to then get the money back.
Exactly.
So I was like, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. But I see the appeal. So
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened with me. That's why I was like, this lady tried to recruit me. And this was when I was having my identity crisis in junior year. So I was like, and she was so fucking convincing. And I was like, okay. And they try to like, they know, I feel like they know so much about human psychology too. So they know how to like rope you in. Mm-hmm. They're like, they'll flatter you. They'll make you feel good about yourselves. And then they will prey on the insecurities and tell you like, oh, you have this, you feel this issue. Like you're a broke college student, but I could make you so much money. Like they twist it around and try to put it in a way where it's like, I have the answer to all your problems. Yeah. And because they've already built you up, it builds this false sense of trust and like, I literally don't know this person. You know nothing about this person. You met them like just however long ago. Like you just met them. And suddenly you're like, why would I not trust them? Which is terrifying.
It's true.
Human psychology is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's so crazy how, like, you would think, like, I feel like I'm tough-minded, you know, and I couldn't be persuaded that easily. But alas.
Exactly.
Like, they're good.
They're so good. And they probably shoot 100 times, fail like however many, right? So they have they have it all. They've built the science of it to get you in.
Yeah.
And yeah, same thing. I was like, I broke college student, having an identity crisis. Why wouldn't I want to be a part of this? So I didn't join, but I like rode that till the end, like went to some meetings, like trying to understand the logic of it before I had to fork out money, because I was like, okay, how can I want the money. Like I want to be able to build money. And she would make it seem legit, but I was like, the math is still not mathing. Even though she's showing me the math, and I'm like, it's mathing on the paper.
Yeah.
Like I see what she's drawing me these diagrams. She's trying to show me like how the multi-level scheme is working.
Yeah.
And it makes sense on the paper. But I'm like, I don't know where you're missing a step, but that doesn't work. And it still wasn't computing in my head. So
what was the product that she was trying to sell you on?
Al started with an A.
Okay.
I don't quite remember. Someone else in our dorm was also part of it.
Oh.
So that's why even more so I was like, I talked to this person and I was like, have you heard of this? And then he's like, yeah, well, how do you think I'm paying off college? And I was like, what are you talking about? So I knew someone even more so in the system. And I had, even before I met this person who like tried to rope me in into the pyramid scheme, the person, our friend who was living in the dorms with us, had told me previously about his like business adventures and like the money that he was making there and how much he was working and hustling in that department. So I knew that it was possible through him and whatever limited version that he was telling me. So even more so, that's why I was like, I was I was like, maybe this could work. Like this, obviously it's plausible to some degree because he's doing it from what he's telling me. Still don't know how much of that I believe now, but according to him, it was working and he was doing it. And this person is selling me these things. They're doing math on paper, which for my
on paper
for my shut the fuck up. God damn it. Ignoring you. Which for me, being a very math driven type A analytical person, like that's how you get me.
Yeah.
Like, and she's like writing it out and like trying to describe and like talking logic to me, which is usually how you wrote me in. So I was getting swayed, but at the same time I was like something, and I don't know if it was a mental thing, if it was a gut feeling, but something was like, I see the numbers, I see it mathing, but like
not convinced.
It's not quite mathing all the way. Like something is missing along here. I don't know what it is because it looks like a direct train of logic. Something is missing along the lines that doesn't make this possible.
Yeah. I think like for me, truly,
yeah,
I would have done a pyramid scheme, but I am honestly too lazy to do it.
And that was part of it too, because I was like, okay, maybe there were part of the flip-flopping that I was doing is I was like, okay, maybe I could do this. But then thinking about how fucking hard I'd have to work to convince people to get people in, it's like, yeah, you just have to think about it. You just have to hire 5 people. Where the fuck am I going to find 5 people?
Why would I thought you were hiring me and now I have to hire people?
Exactly. And then after that, and then you have to convince these people to hire 5 more people. And I'm like, I don't even think I could convince 5 people. How am I going to convince a person to convince 5 people?
Yeah.
And just going into that. So I think that was part of the gut feeling, the logic of like, I don't think I could do this.
Yeah. Nah.
And then I even went to one of their, I don't know,
meetings?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I went to a meeting and I was like kind of convinced. And then towards the end there, I was like looking around, hearing what was being said. And I was like, this is the cult.
Yeah,
like,
I want to just see myself.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is a cult. Like, and I don't remember what they said specifically, but like suddenly something clicked. And I was like, this isn't a business model. I'm not at a business meeting. This is a fucking cult. Yikes. And then I ghosted her after that.
She's gonna block you. Yeah. Imagine though.
She was persistent though. She kept texting me afterwards. She was like, when should we arrange our next meeting? I want to talk to you more about our product. Blah, blah, blah. And I mean, that's how she got good at what she's doing, right? Like, she's persistent. I was fucking scared for a second.
I'm bad at texting too. I would be horrible. Imagine I'm trying to Imagine I'm trying to recruit you to a cult. I would be not convincing at all. I'd be like,
you're like, you could join if you want.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. But it'd be cool.
I would like you to, but like, no pressure.
Yeah, and then like the texting afterward, keeping in contact, trying to pursue them. So bad. I'd be like, sorry, late response. I saw it, but I thought I responded. Yeah. No. So much work. I don't have the time, and I know.
I was like, effort. I don't know where I thought I was gonna find the time. Like being in college in our junior year, like doing all the shit I was already doing, and then trying to prep for senior year. Like I don't know where I barely had time. I had barely had time to go to the gym when I was back when I was actually working out. Like where the fuck was I gonna find the time to meet other people and then convince them? Like with all the meetings I was going to just with this lady, when she's trying to convince me, I wasted so much of her goddamn time. And I like feel a little bad, but also like that's what she signed up. Yeah, that's what she signed up for like this adventure that she was doing.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine. And then it came out for nothing because I didn't fucking join.
Yeah.
So can you imagine so much effort to put into one person and then they don't join?
Nah.
And then I have to do that.
It's called.
I have to do that enough times to get.
Hilarious. I'm hilarious, guy.
Are you doing okay? Do we need to talk? We need to pause here. Do we need to talk?
No, I'm just really proud of that joke. So continue.
Nice. Very nice. I don't know where I was gonna go after that. It was pretty good. You kind of you stumped me now.
Gal. Yeah. But for those who don't know, if you're thinking about joining multi-level marketing or pyramid scheme, don't do it. It's a cult.
It's a cult.
You're not going to make money. No one's actually making money.
Yeah, it's just getting redirected in a lot of ways.
Yeah. A lot of the cults, are motivated by you living immortal lives, or your soul being immortal.
Yeah.
So like past death, if you want to go to heaven, if you want to continue to live, then join the cult. Otherwise you go to hell. Yeah. Right? Which I'm like, first of all, where is hell? Big questions.
Depends who you ask, right?
Yeah. Because like I visualize, everyone I think visualizes heaven as upward.
And right? Everyone envisions hell down.
Yeah.
Quote, down.
So into like the molten lava at the core of the earth. So does each planet have its own hell?
That's exactly what I was just thinking, actually. Or like, yeah, does the whole planet share a hell then, you think?
I don't know. Do you see other people in hell? Because that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like a meetup.
That's... Because there's no way you can have personalized hells, right?
I don't know. I mean, probably some people would preach that you could.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, what would your hell be?
Existing.
We're in it.
Right now. Actually, really, right now.
Yeah.
The way the times things are happening.
Oh my God.
Right now.
Yes.
But we don't need to get into that. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. I was trying to think about it, and then I was like thinking about The Good Place. If you've seen that TV show.
The show.
Yeah.
Not the location.
Yes. Their version of hell being they had a group of people together that just were supposed to torture one another.
Yeah.
I was like, I could get down with that. I don't know.
Like you're someone else's hell. You
like
existing.
Having that kind of idea of like you live in a neighborhood with like other people. Right. That seems like it should be good, but it's not, because it doesn't seem like the worst hell ever imaginable. I was like, I could do that. Seems fun.
Yeah.
There's a bad place. a good place, a medium place.
Hierarchy of places.
Yes. Yeah. Who was I talking to about this? Oh, the medium place. Like, could be down to be in a medium place. Like the level between
right,
heaven and hell.
For the large portion of society, I feel like that is average.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Because that was the whole point of The Good Place, right? Is like, sorry for spoilers for if you haven't watched it, but the point was like you could do the littlest thing and suddenly, ultimately, quote quote, according to their scoring system, that was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly you went from being an average person, so therefore a good place, to having to go to the bad place, going to their quote quote hell. So it's like, can you imagine? Yeah, just the idea of like every little thing you do being an adult, in addition to going to dictating you being an ultimately terrible person. Really shitty.
Yeah, I think all of us would end up in hell, to be honest.
At that point.
But there was someone I was talking to as well, or like the idea that you could literally be a horrible person, say, you know, as part of a religious cult. You could be a horrible person committing really horrible acts, but if you have the same belief, then you still get to go to heaven. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because then in that sense, it's like heaven is just the sense of agreeing with ideals. Heaven is just an ideal. And as long as you agree with it, despite your actions taken to go there and the repercussions of said actions, you essentially have a ticket in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Womp.
No me gusta.
No.
That's a thinker.
Yeah. And I guess like the last thought I had on cults for now was like, do you think that you have been involved in cult behavior?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. And it's I think everyone has, especially if you live in America.
Yeah.
Everyone has up until this point, because one of the examples that I was thinking about was the Pledge of Allegiance.
I was just thinking of that as you were saying that. I was like, I'm waiting for my opening. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, also as a kid, I fucking hated doing that.
Me too.
I fucking hated it.
I hated it.
It made me so uncomfortable. Like, I get teaching it to us, right? We have to learn that, maybe practice it a few times in elementary school to make sure that we really know it. But like, think about it. When do you use that? Maybe at a football game? Which also is weird.
What is it? The one song that everyone sings.
Oh, no. Oh yeah, we don't even use, it's not the Pledge of Allegiance, it's the national anthem.
That's it.
There we go.
National anthem. We are Americans.
We're just looking at each other intensely like, do you know it? No, do you know it?
Yeah, because I remember like Bud, the first time he started teaching.
Okay.
And everyone stood up in class to do it.
Do that?
At least when he was first started teaching. Like, he told me now that he doesn't do it in his class because it's intimidating to him to have all of his students all of a sudden stand up at once.
Is that a personal like, as a teacher, can you make a personal preference of that and be like,
I guess so.
I don't want to do this. I don't want my students doing this.
I guess so.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, I think it was the first time he had seen all of his kids stand up at once and like assume the position, you know? He was like, this is not. Did he ever
do that? And did he do it in school though?
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, like,
but the retroactive of being on the other side of that, right?
Yeah.
And seeing your students do that must have been, terrifying.
Yeah. And it's definitely cult-like behavior. Like, we're doing the chants. We're looking at a flag.
Yeah. What we're going to hold on a pedestal, the icon that we're going to praise and idolize. And
even the words of the, like, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic for which it stands. One nation under God. What happened to separating religion and state? I just want to say, like, it's in our fucking Constitution. It's in our fucking Pledge of Allegiance. Like, I don't understand
I don't know. It's crazy. But America is a cult. So technically we are part of a cult.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about my fandoms and shit again and be like, yeah, I was definitely part of a mini cult. But yeah, yes, my citizenship. Sure.
Yeah. Citizenship is a cult.
Yeah. And then applying for your green card, you're trying to get it in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Holy fuck. Yeah, applying for citizenship, you learn all these useless facts to prove it. Well, not useless facts, but like you learn all these facts. It's kind of
who's in Mount Rushmore? I don't know.
Yeah, it's all these facts that like literally as a citizen, I don't use in my day to day. Sorry, hate to break it to you, but we don't. Yeah, I can say I don't use and I don't even freaking know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 90%. I probably would fail a citizenship test more than likely.
For sure. I didn't have to take one, but I think I was young enough to where they were like,
"You're a child."
Yeah. We could mold her.
We couldn't even teach her this now. We tried.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Yeah. America's a cult. You have to apply to be a part of it. Once you're in it, you lose all your freedoms. If you're a woman, dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Get into that later.
Yep. Guns have more anonymity than we do.
Yeah. It's stupid. I hate it here.
Different issues.
Yeah. Truly considering moving to a different country.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my mom about this, side note, but I was like, at this point, right, I don't want to be here to wait around for all of my rights to be taken away from me. And then I was telling her, like, for people who know me, I've always wanted to have kids. And at this point, I'm like, it would be selfish to bring them into this, especially if there's a possibility of having a girl. And because I'm a person of color, two strikes against them already.
Yep.
So then I was like, there's no point. But my mom was like, well, like, if you bring them into this world, then maybe they will make it better than it is today.
That's the hope always. Yeah.
But it's not entirely realistic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The fall of the U.S. empire is coming soon, and I'm very excited for it.
It's happening so quick.
Yes.
But, you know, statistically, you're more likely to have a boy. Even though chromosomes 50-50, apparently somewhere along the line, I just watched a video about this. Somewhere along the line, and I think that's just not embedded natural selection at its finest, you're more likely to have a boy. Like the ratio of baby boys being born to girls is like, I think it was like 10 to 1. But that's because for some reason also boys have a higher fatality rate? Mortality rate of dying in infancy or in like toddlerhood. So by the time they reach adulthood, maybe it's 50-50 of the population.
Interesting. Yeah, males do not live as long as girls.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. Who's to say? Not I.
That's, yeah.
Anyway.
It's okay. I'm not having kids. I don't have to think about that.
Yeah.
Fine.
I don't know. It's just so concerning.
I'm like, I've been very uncomfortable with just like those thoughts, and just, I feel like it's been now we're taking a different tangent. I've just been in a state of like underlying angst for like the last couple of days. Like,
we could have like a whole episode on
another episode.
Yeah, on the repercussions of what happened in the Supreme Court a couple days ago with Roe v. Wade. And I quite honestly could rant. However, there is a fear of me not being able to articulate properly the emotions I'm feeling.
Yeah, I totally. Yeah, I can't.
So
I've tried to think about it, like how I feel, and I think just I don't even have the words to encapsulate, other than just I'm so angry.
Yeah, it's really going to, from here on out, we will see a divide more than ever, even further than when Trump was in office. Like, I think when he was elected, we started seeing the divide pretty drastically from before. And now with this, it's going to push it even further. And for those who don't think that they're going to be affected because they're white males, they are incorrect. It's going to affect everyone in the worst possible way. And so I think that's going to lead to the end of the 250-year cycle. So I think we're on year 246 or something like that. We have a few years, but major changes awaiting.
Yeah.
So.
Which, like, yay, but also, like, fuck.
Yeah, we
Shit's
don't know
already
if it's
burning. Like, I can't imagine it burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, I don't know if it's changed for good or bad.
Yeah.
So,
anywho.
Yes. Leaving it on that sad note.
On that, what do you mean? It was so bright and cheery.
Yes.
Kind of like the rest of this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I have no further thoughts.
No thoughts
on cults or sororities or anything like that. As of now.
Yeah.
But
all I could think about was the story of one of our friends whose girlfriend joined a cult, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to throw that in now. I feel like there was a point to interject it at some point, but I couldn't find it.
Well, if you guys want to hear that story,
if you want to hear our friend's story about his girlfriend leaving him for a cult, let us know, and we will also make sure he's okay with that. But
yeah, let us know. Reach out to us
at the Midnight Memo at gmail.com via email, or reach out to us on TikTok and Instagram at the Midnight Memo. Feel free to DM us.
Yeah, don't forget to rate and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts when you can know when the next episode is coming out. We release an episode every single Tuesday, so make sure you get those notifications.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this day, evening, morning, whenever you're listening. We really appreciate your love and support.
Yes, and don't join a cult.
And unless it's this one. Unless it's a cult for this podcast, then like we're not going to say no.
Wait a minute. Do we have a cult?
Oh my God. If you were going to make a cult, it'd be this one.
It'd be this one.
It would be this one. Mic drop if it wasn't already attached to a mic stand.
You are now part of a cult. You can't back out. I'm sorry.
If you weren't before, which I feel like we've established you probably were, you're definitely in one now.
Yes.
Thank you. Good night.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Bye.